Are you still trying to fix your credit, yet you're looking for that perfect unsecured credit card that can get you between $5,000 and $15,000 right off the bat, even still while you're working on your credit? The answer is yes, there is a secret bank. I'm going to share with you exactly what this bank is and how you can take a backdoor loophole method to get into this bank as far as being able to open up an account and being able to access this kind of credit. So let's get into it. Okay, first and foremost, you're probably wondering, well, Monica, what the hell did you do with your hair? Well, this is kind of what I was talking about in the last video, where I had tried to grow out my hair. Right now I live in Florida. It's really, really humid. The whole hair growing thing wasn't working, especially since I have really thick hair. And then I realized it. I was sitting myself down one day and I'm like, the reason I'm trying to grow out this hair is because some people think I don't look feminine enough online, so therefore I get crappy comments from some of you that say, oh, you look like a man, this and that. And so that's why I was trying to grow out my hair. And then one day when I realized what a ridiculous reason as to why I'm trying to grow out my hair is because a couple of people online think I look like a man. So then I realized, well, I actually don't care what people think. I feel better like this. I've always had my hair this short. Well, maybe not this short, but I like it and it works. It's hot. I really do feel much, much better. I feel like I'm more comfortable in my own skin than trying to be something I'm not. So that's a lesson for both of us. Lesson for me in that you can't care what people think. You just have to do you, right? And a lesson for you in that, maybe it's not a nice thing to troll people online and say whatever you want to say, because maybe some of you think that you're keyboard warriors. You could say whatever you want to say and, be negative and not understand how maybe you're affecting other people. So, that's just a lesson for both of us. I know most of you are not like that. I have some of the most amazing people that watch my channel. And I just am grateful for pretty much all of you, but then there's always those bad apples here and there, and I can't live my life for those people, So that's why I cut off my hair. It is the way it is. If you like it, great. In fact, I'd be kind of curious to know what you guys think. Maybe drop some comments, but respectful comments. You don't have to be trolly or douchey or anything like that. Just tell me what you genuinely think. I feel better this way. I actually feel more confident, and I feel like I'm my old self again. So I hope you like the hair. Just tell me what you think in the comments. That would be cool. All right, so let's talk about the bank, because this is the most important part of this. As you know, when you are working on your credit, which most of you are, you're probably looking for different types of credit card offerings that can not only help you facilitate rebuilding your credit faster, but maybe you would like to have a credit card that could also give you some really enticing balance transfer promotional periods where you can get out of some of that really high interest rate debt and move it over into a credit card that can give you a really low interest rate or a 0% interest rate, whatever is available during the promotion period, for at least 12 months to give you some breathing room, help you pay off that debt faster. Because if you're paying 20+% interest on your credit cards, it's taking you a lifetime to pay that off. And we need to get out from under that and give you some breathing room, okay? So there is a bank. A lot of people talk about it. And for those of you that watch a lot of my videos, you probably already know this kind of backstory, but I've been working with Bank of America for, I want to say now it's been 30 plus years, okay? And I've noticed over the past couple of years that they've really changed when it comes to issuing out credit. I don't know if they're having financial issues or if they're just changing their business model in anticipation for the collapse of the economy. I have no idea what they're doing, but I have noticed that they have shifted gears in how they are issuing credit. And so I have a really good FICO score, which I did not always have, by the way. I was like some of you, where I went through bankruptcy, I went through repossessions, I went through all kinds of hell when it came to my credit, which is why I know as much as I know, because I read all of those books, did all of the stuff, and I had to create some of my own unorthodox strategies to help me fix my credit, because some of that stuff was just a run-of-the-mill Eden Press. This was before Amazon, where you can buy these books that would teach you how to do all this different stuff, and some of it worked, some of it didn't, and I had to kind of invent my own system, which is why I decided to bring this channel to you. It's because I know so much about credit due to my own issues. And that's why I don't judge people, because you never know what people are going through. Like, I always have somebody, some troll in the comments is like, just pay your bills, deadbeat. Okay, well, sometimes stuff happens, right? Like for me, I had a issue with my business. It just took a nosedive one day. I was going through some major legal issues. At the same time, I was filing for divorce against an abusive husband who I didn't want to be with anymore for obvious reasons. And so I went through it. And on top of that, after the divorce, there was identity theft. He stole my identity and essentially ran up a bunch of credit. I did not know what the recourse was, and this was, of course, back in the late 90s. So people didn't really know that identity theft was a thing. So even if I filed a police report, like what would have happened then? Probably nothing. And I really didn't know anything at that time. I was in my 20s. And so I think I just realized, based on all the stuff that I went through, that you just never know what's going to happen in anybody's life. Like, you know, there's people that pretend like they're perfect. I don't know why the hell they're watching a credit video about repairing credit or finding different loopholes in the credit system if they're so perfect and holier than thou. I just don't understand that. But there are people that make comments and are like, just pay your bills. I pay all my bills and I'm debt free and I pay cash for everything and whatever the case may be. Well, then why are you watching these videos? Why are you watching my channel then? You just don't have that much to do with your time. You're bored. I don't know what the problem is. So this is a channel for those of you that are trying to get ahead in the credit game, and on top of that, get ahead in your financial future. And so that's what I'm offering to you based on my own personal experience over the last 3 decades, okay? So my point in this is that I don't judge you. I'm not here to judge you. Don't ever be ashamed of the situation you're in. The only time you should ever feel ashamed or be ashamed is if you're choosing not to do anything about it, knowing that you now have education and knowledge, which knowledge is power, and if you're choosing to continue to still, you know, be in a pity party and not do anything about your life circumstances. That's when you should be ashamed. But if you were put in the situation you didn't know, a lot of us come into this credit game. None of us are taught credit when we're growing up. They purposely and maliciously remove this kind of education from us. It's only for the elite and the high-powered individuals out there that get to learn about the credit and the money game. And the rest of us are left in the dark, and we're pushed through a school system to learn trivial nonsense that most of us never use, you know, in the first place, ever in our life, right? So that is what we're taught, and we're taught that on purpose. So don't feel ashamed. Just see what we can do now to move forward and fix it. So hopefully all of you who do have a poor FICO score, who are having problems with your credit, instead of sitting there and crying about it or just saying, poor me, or this and that happened to me, or I don't understand what's going on, empower yourself, because that is what I'm here to do, is to help you empower yourself. So then that way, instead of you being afraid of creditors or afraid of lawyers sending you letters or whatever the case may be, you can now take the bull by the horns and say, you know what, I'm not going to be afraid of these people. It's not like they're going to come to my doorstep and, you know, blow my brains out. I do have power in this situation. I'm not going to allow these people to, you know, throw me in chaos and fear. I'm not going to answer my phone anymore, and I'm just going to figure this out. And so for those of you, that's what this channel is for, okay? So it's not for my hair. Believe it or not, it's not about my hair. It's not about, you know, it's not about me at all. It's about you and what I could do to help empower you. And so this is yet another video to show you how you can further empower yourself by not only continuing to repair, fix your credit as well as rebuild your credit, but also find ways to get yourself out of that high interest rate debt and move it over into lower interest rates or 0% APR interest rates for promotional periods of time so that you can get breathing room going. And then I strongly urge you to start looking into some of my side hustle business opportunities that I talk a lot about moving forward, or even at the same time as you're fixing your credit, you need to start making some extra money, even if it's just an extra $500 a month to start. An extra $500 to $1,000 a month will help you a lot to help you pay down this credit, especially when you're in like a 0% or 99, 0.99% APR period for a year, for example. That will give you an opportunity to catch up if you dedicate that $500 to $1,000 extra that you're making a month in putting it into that credit card, putting it into those payments, while really kind of minimizing the extra spending, which I think is becoming more automatic nowadays because people are starting to realize that the economy is starting to slow down. Inflation is just ridiculously wild right now. Things are so much more costly. I was at the grocery store the other day and I couldn't believe it when the lady told me it was $315, and I was like looking at my bags, and there was like 3 bags of stuff in my cart. I'm like, how the hell is it $315? Like, what the hell did I spend this money on? And, you know, usually I'll buy like a gift card or something from somebody's birthday or whatever. And that's what I thought. I'm like, did I buy a gift card for somebody? I'm like, no, I didn't buy any gift cards. Why is it $315, you know? And that's when I realized it's like, okay, I could afford it because I have all my little side hustle businesses that I'm doing. But what about other people? They're having a hard time, and that might be you too. And so again, instead of being a victim, we are in a land of opportunity. You can look at my other videos to start getting those side hustles going while you're rebuilding your credit. But now let's talk about our next step in the credit process. So most of you are in the process of repairing your credit. And most of you also know that I talk a lot about getting yourself new credit to revitalize that credit profile, because I do have people that tell me, again in the comment section, I pay cash for everything. Well, good for you. Whoop-de-dee-doo. Okay, that's great. I'm so glad you do. But the problem with that is that unless you're sitting in a house that you never plan on moving from, you're going to need credit to get an apartment. You're going to need credit if you ever want a new car one day. And you're going to need credit if you ever want to buy a house one day, unless, of course, you, Mr. or Miss Cash for everything. You plan on paying for, you know, several $100,000 cash out of your pocket for a new house, which if you can afford that, good on you. But, you know, most people can't do that, right? So you think you can get away from the credit game, you can't. Don't bamboozle yourself into believing you can, and stop leaving comments that you claim that you can stay off the grid. Because if you were truly off the grid, guess what? You would be in the middle of some farmland somewhere pitching a Walmart tent, and you would be, you know, off the grid. Meaning you would have no internet, no phone, no nothing. In fact, you wouldn't even be able to watch this YouTube video right now because you would be off the grid, okay? So that's not the reality of your life. We both know it. Stop fooling yourself. You're fooling no one else, all right? So those cash days are over. And what I want to say is I was able to take credit and become a multimillionaire with it because I did it responsibly. You know, it's not just about going into debt frivolously and irresponsibly. There is a way to where you can use other people's money, or OPM, to get wealthy by buying a business, for example, or expanding a business that maybe you currently have right now. Or maybe it's, you know, you want to build something that's brand new. Maybe you want to build an app or something. You have a vision of a powerful business that you would like to have. And you can do that with other people's money. The vast majority of the time when people go bankrupt in business is because, well, there's a lot of reasons, but the biggest reason is because they're underfunded. Meaning that they don't have enough money to keep putting into it for inventory and other things. And that's why you see all these people that show up on shows like Shark Tank, where they're looking for some investors because they don't want to lose their business because they don't have enough money for inventory. It's like, are you calling them irresponsible because they just need some extra money to be able to continue fueling their business forward until they hit the big time? I don't think so, right? So it just depends on how you use credit. And so my purpose here is to help you repair your credit, rebuild your credit, so that ultimately we can get started into business credit. And this is kind of the segue into that. Because what I'm going to be sharing with you is this particular bank that I'm going to be referring to is not only a bank that you will start a personal account with to begin a banking relationship with this powerful bank, but you'll also eventually start getting business credit from this bank as well, okay? So let's talk about the bank. Let's talk about why I chose this bank, why I'm moving my business activities over from Bank of America into this new bank, and why maybe you should consider getting an account. But it's not just an account for everybody. You have to be able to get the account in a certain way, which I'm going to share with you in this video exactly how to get this bank account, because it's not like you can walk into a branch and just get an account like you can with any typical bank. This is a different, special kind of bank, all right? So what is the bank that I'm talking about? I'm talking about Navy Federal. Now, I know that you've probably seen other videos about Navy Federal. Everybody's all over Navy Federal. The reason I'm selecting it is because I live in a little area in the panhandle of Florida, and Bank of America is like 90 minutes away from me. That's the nearest branch. The other nationwide bank that's here is Wells Fargo. I refuse to do business with them. Yes, I do have Wells Fargo credit cards, but I'm not going to have a bank account with Wells Fargo. I ended up on check systems with them a long, long time ago. It took me 10 years to get off the check system, even after I paid them back with the overdraft, which was a ridiculous minuscule amount of money. And I was stuck on that system for 10 years, even though I did pay Wells Fargo back. So I'm not going to be doing business with Wells Fargo. That's the only other nationwide bank here. But then there's Navy Federal, which has branches in all 50 states. So I think even beyond that, actually, because it is for service of the military. So you're probably thinking, okay, well, Monica, I've heard of this Navy Federal thing. Why are you all on this Navy Federal thing? It's because, well, there's branches around me where I am now, which is what I need. But with Navy Federal, you can also get some really good killer kick-ass interest rates on their credit card and loan products. Even better, they're more lenient when it comes to credit card applications. And so if you are somebody who's still in the process of repairing your credit, you would love to be able to get one of those really low APR promotional periods. Right now they have, I think, 0.99% APR for 12 months on a new credit card. And if you are somebody who's still working on your credit, you don't have a perfect credit score, your credit score is not over 700 yet, you can still get a Navy Federal credit card, still get the 0.99% APR for the 12 months, and you can qualify between $5,000 and $15,000 right now. So that's the program that they have. And so I think that would be perfect for those of you that are really trying to find a program that you can balance this high interest, credit card or loan debt that you have, throw it onto the new card, and then pay it off, but pay it off faster with one of those side hustle gigs that I talk about on my channel. And if you're not sure what I'm talking about, just go to my business part of my channel, and then you'll see all kinds of different side hustle opportunities for you that you can use to make that, even that extra $500 to $1,000 a month will do wonders for you paying off this debt within that 12-month time frame. So that's the goal. So we want to be able to get into this bank because not only do they offer these amazing, really low APR programs, but they also are a little bit more lenient when it comes to giving out credit. And on top of that, what a lot of people don't know is that when you have multiple inquiries on your credit reports for different credit pulls that you had done, maybe you try to apply for multiple credit cards or loans, car loans, etc. If you have anywhere between, say, 0 and 4 for many of the larger banks like Citibank, American Express, for example, in the last 6 months, they're not going to issue you credit. I just did a whole video about how to get rid of your hard inquiries as fast as possible. So then that way you can now start moving forward in applying for new credit when you're ready, when your FICO score is a little higher, if it's not already higher right now. Because for many of you, you've been working on your credit with a lot of the videos that I've been sharing with you over the last several months. And now you're ready to go get new credit to start rebuilding. And so, this is a really good bank to be able to do this with because they will allow you to have more hard inquiries in the last 6 months than most banks. Like American Express, for example, if you have more than 2 hard pulls in the last 6 months, they're not going to give you a credit card, even if you have an 820 FICO score. They're just not doing it. Same with some of the other more strict banks now, like Citibank, like I said, Chase. They want to see around 2, maximum 3 or 4. Some of them will do up to 4, but maximum 3 for the most part, hard pulls within the last 6 months. And if you have more than 3 hard pulls in the last 6 months, you are not getting any credit from them, okay? Again, even if you have a great FICO score, they don't care. That just shows that you have a level of desperation and they don't want to do business with you. So let's talk about Navy Federal and how to get in, because you're probably like, well, Monica, that's great, but I don't have any family that's military. I'm not military myself. I don't know how I'm going to possibly be able to get in, because you do have to have military friends. You have to be in the military. You have to have some kind of military connection to be able to get a Navy Federal account. However, there is a backdoor method that I'm going to share with you on exactly how to get your Navy Federal account. You'll be able to fund that account with as little as $5, and it will be like a personal account that you'll start your business relationship with, meaning it's a personal relationship that you're starting, but it is a business relationship because you're actually starting a relationship with a business, which is a bank. And then ultimately one day you do want to get a business checking account there once you get your business established and up and running. But now don't worry about that. Right now we're only focusing on the personal aspect of getting an account with Navy Federal. So I'm going to share with you exactly how that works, what it looks like, what to do as far as applying. We're going to start with the process of applying online, and I'm going to show you how to do it. So let's get into it. So right now I'm on my laptop, as you can see, and I just basically Googled apply for a Navy Federal account. You can see that right here. And then I got right to the NavyFederal.org website. It says join now, become a member. So we're going to go ahead and click on this on their website and start the process, all right? So let's talk about what our options are, okay? So there's going to be a whole list of people who can join. active duty military, veterans, immediate family members, including spouses, siblings, parents, grandchildren, grandparents, and grandchildren, and of course, Department of Defense employees. So if you're not eligible of any of those, then you're probably going to focus on immediate family members. Now, you might be arguing, well, Monica, I don't have anybody in my family. You probably do and you don't realize it. I would strongly urge you to start thinking through it, because they will allow, as far away as grandparents to be able to help you get into this bank. And it's worth it because, as you know, this, like I said, this is an amazing bank to have a business relationship with, because moving forward, they'll be able to offer you so much more in credit than your average bank. Credit unions are always going to be better anyway, and this is probably one of the top-rated credit unions in the entire country for the last 15 years, especially with reference to military credit unions. This is the top for the last 15 years, and so this is definitely one that you want to be part of. And then start disconnecting from your average banks and start doing more business with this credit union. So I'm going to go ahead and click Join Now. And then we're going to go ahead and start the process and go through this. Now, you're probably wondering, well, Monica, what if I don't qualify this way? Well, first we start off with the online process, and then we do a different kind of hack later. Okay, I'm going to talk about what the hack is later, because there is a specific hack that you can use if you do not qualify with the online system. But we always start with the online system first, see what happens, and then if the online thing doesn't work, I'm going to share with you exactly what to do as part two. Part two always works, so don't get discouraged if the online strategy doesn't work. We start with the online strategy, see what happens, and then we move to the other strategy, which I'm going to talk about in a minute. All right, so let's go through with the application. So verify your eligibility. We're going to go through here. We're going to put my information through, so I'll just do this really quick and just start. Okay, so all I'm doing is I'm just going through the entire process online really quick just to be able to go through all of this. And then it's finally going to say, okay, let's make sure that you're eligible for individual membership. So for me, I have a family member who serves or serves in the military. In fact, he actually was in the Navy. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this, okay? And is your family, no, he's not. He's actually considered deceased at this point, so he's not alive anymore. Is your sponsor a veteran? Yes, he is. And he was in the Navy. Okay. All right, so let's get started with your membership. So let's talk about all the stuff. They're going to be able to ask for all of these, all this information. Okay, female. Right. And then it's asking me what kind of checking account I would like with my starting membership. Okay. If you have direct deposit from, say, for example, a job, you'd probably want to use free easy checking. If you do not have direct deposit, I would strongly urge you to either choose the first one or the last one. Many of you will probably choose free everyday checking because it doesn't have any of the hardcore requirements, the stringent requirements, okay? So I'm just going to choose flagship, but you're probably going to choose free everyday checking. We're going to go forward. Yes, I want a debit card. Put a PIN in there. Minimum of $5 is required to purchase one share to become a member of Navy Federal Credit Union. So I'm going to go ahead and use a credit or debit card to make this quick and to open this up right now. I'm probably going to put $100 in there. It's probably the easiest route to take. And then it's going to ask me for a Visa or MasterCard to put in there to be able to start my deposit for my account. I think this is pretty cool, by the way, because this is happening really quick. Like, a lot of people talk about this one other strategy, which I'm going to share with you momentarily on what happens if you can't get through the system this way. But other people talk about this one strategy, which I'm going to share with you in just a second. But I want to finish this first because I want to share with you exactly how easy this is, okay? And by the way, I've never done this before. So if you're thinking, oh, Monica, you must have done a test version of this, and now this is why and how you know that this works. No, actually, several people told me that this works this easy. So this is why I decided to do this with you, so just to prove to you that this is a brand spanking new account. I've never opened up an account with Navy Federal before. And they didn't even verify that my grandfather was in the military. So if you don't have a family member who you happen to know is in the military that can get you a referral link that has a Navy Federal account, which is probably the fastest and easiest way, it doesn't even matter. Because like I showed you, I just checked the box that my grandfather was in the military, and I mentioned that he was in the Navy, which is true. But they didn't ask me the dude's name, the dude's date of birth, the dude's address. I mean, that would be kind of hard because he's in a cemetery. But they didn't ask me any information. Like, people get paranoid and panic, like, oh, I don't have anybody, so therefore I don't qualify. Do this anyway, and you will be able to qualify for your account. Okay, so I'm in the process of uploading my identification, which basically means that you just have to take a picture of your driver's license on your phone, and you just upload it. It's taken a minute, so that's what we're waiting for right now. But I should share with you really quick, though, if you're having a problem opening up your Navy Federal Credit Union bank account, then there is another way to do it. And the other way to do it is to do what they call the midnight hack. I've heard of this before. I've had several people tell me about this. I guess Navy Federal closes around 11 o'clock. I think it's Eastern time. So they call this I think they call this the midnight hack, where you can call somebody on the phone and have them open up the account over the phone instead of doing it online. I don't like talking to people on the phone. I don't want to do anything on the phone. I'm not interested in calling anybody on the phone, because the way the midnight hack works is that sometimes you deal with a surly individual who doesn't want to help you. They're about to get off of their shift, and the last thing they want to do is start opening up an account with you. And so they might just say, no, I'm sorry, you don't qualify, and hang up. So the way the midnight hack works is that you're supposed to keep calling back over and over again until you get somebody who's willing to help you. Again, I don't know that I would do that strategy when it's completely 100% unnecessary. Why would you want to call somebody on the phone if you don't have to call somebody on the phone, right? So just don't, just do it this way. And this is the way that, like I said, if you don't have somebody that is in your family that is military, pretend like you do. Pretend like your grandfather was in the Navy or the Army or whatever, and do it the way that I just shared with you, because like I said, they don't ask a lick of information about who the dude is or who, if you could have been your grandmother. They're not asking anything about anybody. No name, no branch, no, date of birth, no referral, no nothing. But one of the things I wanted to share with you is exactly why am I pushing this Navy Federal thing? Well, like I said before, having any kind of credit union as your bank is always going to be way, way better than using, Wells Fargo, Bank of America, your run-of-the-mill banks, because you get better interest rates, you get more lenient lending, you get more credit in many cases. Now, one of the things I did notice about Navy Federal, like when I'm ready to go ahead and get a business credit card, which I will do once I'm able to establish my personal checking account. Then once I get my personal checking account established, what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to get a business account established with them to start a business relationship with business credit with them. And one of the first things I'm going to do is I'm going to apply for a business credit card, an unsecured business credit card. Now, I did notice that their maximum amount for their business credit card is like $25,000. It's not great. Like, you can get a Chase Inc. card for $50,000 right off the bat. But $25,000 is a lot. And you have to remember, when you're starting the process of getting business credit, I just want to be abundantly clear about something. You need to understand that this money is to be able to use for the purposes of building wealth for yourself. You're not trying to get deeper into debt. You're not trying to build up all this credit to screw over the bank. This is not what this is for. We are trying to use the leverage of other people's money to get wealthy, okay? That's what the multimillionaires, the billionaires do. So all I did was basically go to my power company, my electric company, and I was able to get a recent bill for my power. So was that too difficult? I don't think so. I think that was pretty easy. And so my next step is that if I do have a problem with this application, which I doubt I will, they'll call me on the phone or whatever the case may be, maybe send me an email, I don't know. And they might, express maybe concern about who my grandfather is. But again, you saw proof. They did not even ask for the dude's name. They didn't ask for his date of birth, nothing, okay? So if you don't truly have someone in the military, which by the way, you probably do, you just haven't thought it through, especially when it comes to grandparents. It's like, who even remembers what the hell any of them did in their lifetime, right? So likely you probably had a grandparent who did serve in the military. So if you're not sure, ask your mom, ask your dad. There's got to be someone. And, you know, like I said, they didn't even check anything. They probably just don't care. They would just love to have an extra person, you know, to be able to offer their products to. Because as you know, banks make money with interest. And so the more products you get from a bank, they're making money off of you, okay? They just want to make it seem like it's exclusive. So then that way they're just not letting any Tom, Dick, or Harry just blow on in. They want to make sure that they're kind of vetting people, or at least it's seemingly the process of them vetting people. And again, you want to be able to get into a really good bank that's more lenient, that can offer you the credit products that you're looking for, a bigger bank that isn't going to buckle under the pressure. And that's what I'm noticing Bank of America is doing, is that they're buckling under the pressure. And so many of you know I do a lot of transactions in real estate, especially when it comes to renovating and so forth. And I can't have a bank that's buckling when I need renovation money and I need credit to be able to, you know, rehab and flip a property. I can't have a bank buckling at the knees when I'm asking for even an unsecured credit card with an over 800 FICO score. That's freaking ridiculous, okay? And so that's why I'm just noticing that Bank of America probably is sucking wind right now, and that's why I need to start facilitating another relationship with a better bank that's not going to buckle, especially with the economy the way it's coming up. If I'm going to continue using other people's money for my investing projects, I better have a really reliable bank, and Bank of America is just not in anymore. So this is hopefully helpful to you. Again, if it's not even on the peripheral for you to even start the process of investing or thinking about business credit, I suggest you still do this anyway. It's $5 to open up an account. You know, use the last account selection that I showed you on that one page. Use that one instead of using the flagship one that I used, because then you won't have any fees or anything that you need to worry about. And just let it sit and then start the process of building that relationship as time goes on, when you continue to repair and rebuild your credit. Because this credit union is a really good one to get in on, especially if you want a really good, I think it's a 0.99% APR that they have for balance transfers right now for the next 12 months. Why not take that and get out of that heavy load of that severe debt that you're in and start getting some breathing room? And then definitely look into some of my side hustle businesses that you can get involved in, so you can start paying that debt down way, way faster, okay? That needs to be the goal, is paying that debt down, all right? So I hope this helped you. I hope that you're getting your Navy Federal account open right now. Don't wait any more for it. It's only $5 to open up the account, and that way you can start that relationship. If you did not sign up for my free group, school.com/Monica Main, go right now. There's an amazing amount of 6,000 plus of you that are part of this group, and it's just the most amazing group. I just love it. You can get free courses, free trainings, free books, especially my Credit Millionaire book that will share with you not only how to repair and rebuild your personal credit, but it'll also show you how to gain access to hundreds of thousands of dollars in unsecured business credit to use to build a business, buy a business, or invest in whatever you want to invest in. That's going to ultimately give you that cash flow that you need for financial freedom, all right? Definitely want to do that. So be sure to like and subscribe. Put some comments down below. That helps me out a lot, especially about my hair, my beautiful hair, or I should say my lack thereof. I think it's perfect that I just signed up for Navy Federal, because I actually look like I could be in the Navy right now, don't you think? All right, you guys, this is Monica Main signing off, and I will see you in the next video.